Hi, and welcome to another edition of Mike Finds Things, where I go out and find all kinds of cool old records out in the wild, mostly estate sales, sometimes thrift stores, sometimes I get a record lot or something like that. This week it's an all estate sale edition. This came from 3 different estate sales. Did find some amazing stuff this week. Hopefully I'll find some stuff for next week. I have to go to Vegas and film for my other channel, the Mike Frankovich channel. I got to film the SEMA show on, I got to drive there tomorrow. Today's a Sunday. I'm going to drive Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday I'm filming. I'll come back Wednesday night. Hopefully Thursday, Friday I can hit some sales, find some stuff for you guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We are really, really close to that 1,000 mark. It's been kind of slow going on that one. So we're going to start. This is my second attempt at this video. We had even though it's Sunday and it's supposed to be really quiet and there's usually nothing going on, gardening started up 2 minutes after I started the video last time. So we're going to go into this, and hopefully nothing else happens. And I'm chasing the sun. We just had daylight savings time, so it gets dark early, and I'm doing this in the afternoon. So we got a race here. We're going to do this one. 1982, I got this from a sale locally, really close to here. This guy clears out estates. His whole house was just full of stuff, just piled everywhere. He had records. There was no rhyme or reason to his pricing. Almost gave me a headache. Just looking through this. He wanted $15 for some random Judy Garland album that no one will ever want. I did buy one record from him. So for $5, I got the Road Warrior soundtrack, which was also, if you don't live in the United States, it was marketed as Mad Max 2. Outside of the United States. In the U.S., not a lot of people knew what Mad Max was, so it was marketed as the Road Warrior. My dad took me to see this movie when I was a kid. The music is done by Brian May, and it's not, I had to look this up, it's not the same Brian May you know from Queen. So it was actually an Australian composer, Brian May. Of course, this trilogy launched the career of Mel Gibson. This one, another one of those soundtracks that has a little bit of a value. It's a U.S. press, because obviously it says Road Warrior, not Mad Max 2. On CD, this goes for $100, apparently, which is kind of nuts. But I don't know. The LP version, according to Discogs, low of 10, mid of 24, high of 54 for the Mad Max 2, a.k.a. the Road Warrior soundtrack. And I always loved that movie. That's why I grabbed it, and plus, like I said, I've got memories of my dad taking me to see that when it came out many, many years ago. We're going to go to another sale here. This one's out in Whittier. Also, make sure you like the video. Make sure you leave some comments about some of these records if anything's really super interesting to you. It all helps us out with the silly YouTube algorithm, which has been playing tricks on creators for a while now, for about the last year and a half. I know my other channel took a huge hit. And if you like cars, check out my other channel, which is my name, Mike Frankovich. So there you go. We got a couple 45s here. First one's from 1970, an artist you don't normally see on 45, which is why I grabbed it. It is a Jethro Tull with The Witch's Promise. So really early Tull. That's why I grabbed that. This one has a low of 2, mid of 5, high of 10 on Discogs, so not a crazy value or anything like that. But like I said, you don't see a lot of Jethro Tull on 45, which is why I snagged that one. From the same sale, we've got from 1969 on red vinyl. We got a Motown promo, low of 6, mid of 10, high of 19 for the red vinyl promo of David Ruffin. My Whole World Ended the Moment You Left Me. So a big hit on Motown. I'm guessing it was red vinyl to catch the interest of the DJ. And then it has the same song on both sides, so the DJ didn't mess up and play the wrong side, which we see on a lot of promo stuff. So cool, white label, promo, red vinyl, Motown, David Ruffin single. I always like to find cool Motown stuff. That's definitely cool Motown stuff. From 1970, we got one, this song. I like to pick up Beatles 45s when I can, because they're good jukebox fillers. There's one everybody knows, The Long and Winding Road on Apple. This one has the original company sleeve. Not a high value, low of $1, mid of 3, high of 13. They did press a lot of Beatles records. Obviously, there's Beatles records that are worth a lot of money, such as the Butcher cover, stuff like that. But I always say with Beatles, you always got to remember, Most of your more common ones, they did press a lot of them. Obviously, people still want them because anybody getting into vinyl generally wants Beatles records. So, but like I said, I picked those up usually for the jukebox, the Beatles ones. I picked up another Apple label, probably not for the jukebox though. I know a guy that collects just Beatles stuff, which I'll probably see if he wants this one. He may have it already. It is John Lennon Plastic Ono Band, Power to the People. This one did not have the company sleeve. I don't know if I looked up. I don't think I even looked up a value. I don't think I had much of a value. And the B side has Yoko Ono singing. She's singing "Touch Me." So that's probably why this record. Imagine that side didn't get a lot of play. Let's just leave it at that and get into too much Yoko Ono bashing here on the Mike Finds Things channel. But cool to find Apple label stuff. Like I said, probably nothing that's going to set the world on fire value-wise. Here's one, 1963 blues records on 3 of a Kind Records, I believe, which just says is a product of Pickwick. 63 mono pressing. I guess they did a stereo pressing of this as well. There's 2 listings for this pressing on Discogs. One is low of 2, mid of 4, high of 6. The other one's low of 5, mid of 6, high of 8. It's 3 of a kind. So 3 different blues artists on this one. We got Lead Belly, Bill Brunzi, Big Bill Brunzi, which we found some of his on 78. I have some Lead Belly 78 Alabama prison songs set I found in an early video, and then Josh White. So there's that one. This got a lot of folk records, and a lot of times folk guys will have blues records because they were released on a lot of the folky labels, the represses. Because in the 60s, when all the all the British invasion artists were picking up on blues, they were finding it on these represses because back in the early days of blues on 78, they didn't press a lot of blues 78s. Later on, there was a demand for it, so they all got repressed onto LPs, which I found a few over time. Here's another one that's such a situation. This one's on Archive of Folk Music Records from 1965. It's a mono press, which I guess they did a stereo pressing too. Low of 3, mid of 10, high of 20 on Discogs. If I quote prices, it's usually a Discogs price, unless otherwise. I don't think I have any other ones I quoted on this one. This one is Lead Belly. I said said it was released on stereo, even though, of course, they were originally mono recordings. So that one has a bit of a value. People still want the blues records. Obviously, early blues 78s are not the easiest things to find. Here we go. From 1980, something a little bit different. Actually, we got another Lead Belly LP coming up, too. From 1980, artist that I saw last week. Okay, it is the English Beat, which is actually today. It's Dave Wakeling and a he's like the only original member, I believe. But I've seen the English Beat many times. This is the I Just Can't Stop It album. I own several copies of this. I snagged it. In fact, I think I went through the pile and didn't grab it. It's in good condition. I think if you saw my videos where I went through the E-artists. Of my old records, I had a couple copies of this. I know I gave one to my daughter as well. This one, believe it or not, has a low value of $1, mid of 22, high of 46. So people do want that two-tone ska. It is a U.S. press of it as well. Of course, this one has Mirror in the Bathroom, Twist and Crawl, Rankin Full Stop. Lots of great English Beat songs on this one. That's one you can just listen to all the way through, especially if you really like two-tone ska. Going back to Lead Belly, we got this one's on Allegro Records. This compilation. When I say the compilation was released in '66. Obviously, the music's earlier than that on the blues ones. Low of 4, mid of 11, high of 20. This is a U.S. again mono pressing. They did a stereo version. Good Night Irene. This has a little bit of value. Again, these were mixed in with all this guy's folk records. This one's actually in really nice condition. So we got that one from 1966, U.S. mono pressing. Here's one, if you're a big Steely Dan fan, you know who this guy is. From 82, this one has I didn't look up a value because there's a bunch of different versions of it. It has a return slice cut into it. So Didn't sell originally, I guess. 1982, we got Donald Fagen, the Night Fly, and this one has IGY was the single on this one that some of you guys know. So I love Steely Dan, so I picked this one up because I did not have a copy of this. So Donald Fagen. And we're going to breeze through here. I'm glad the gardening has subsided, which was weird on a Sunday. I don't know. Usually it's like a weekday thing, and I do my videos usually in the morning on weekdays to avoid it. And then there hasn't been any construction lately. If we run into that on Mike Finds Things as well. One from '69, again, another record that has so many pressings, I didn't even try to attempt to figure out which one it was, value-wise. 2 LP set from the U.S., it is the Chicago Transit Authority, which of course shortened their name later to Chicago after the actual, this one, show you the backside, after the actual Chicago Transit Authority, the transit organization told them to change it. That's the story I've always heard because they didn't want confusion. So they said they shortened it to Chicago, and then they confused them with the actual city of Chicago. No, they didn't do that. So Chicago Transit Authority from 1969. Here's a Rolling Stones record from '81. I did see the Stones at, only once though, at the Rose Bowl, not far from me here in Pasadena. This one is a '81 US version. Again, I'm not going to sit there and try to figure out which pressing it is. They did a billion of them. It is Sucking in the '70s. And the songs most people know by them on this one are Shattered and Beast of Burden, the ones you probably know. This was in really nice condition. I don't know what the value would be on that, but did not have that one in the collection, so I'm going to hang on to it. 1967, this is the first of 2 copies of this record. This one, the other one's in better shape. This is a mono jacket. I got excited because it was a mono jack. It said mono, so I checked the record. I was going through these things pretty quick. The record is a stereo version, though, so I'm guessing it's one of those cases where somebody switched the records, and they had like a jack. You know how you do it. Like you find the record loose, and then later on you find a jacket or something like that. So, but we have a mono jacket with a stereo record, U.S. press. Of course, this one has Ruby Tuesday, Standing in the Shadow, stuff like Let's Spend the Night Together. So, Flowers. Again, I'm not going to try to figure out value. This one's kind of weird because it's got the wrong press record in the mono jacket, but people would still want it because it's the Rolling Stones. Here's one I have never come across, and I like 80s stuff. I do have the 45 of the single in one of my jukeboxes. This is a UK pressing of this one, which they did do a US press of this, so I will say that. Low of $1, mid of 5, high of 15. I'm guessing this is way more common in the UK because I have never run across it. It is Musical Youth, the youth of today. And yes, it has Pass the Dutchie on it. This one has a plastic protective thing here. I grabbed it. I've always liked Pass the Dutchie. It's just a fun song. I liked it even when it was new. I remember the music video and all that. And it has, I believe, an insert. What's this got here? Yeah, it's got the insert and then the actual song. I think it's got a poster in there or something. But the actual record sleeve is like a cartoon about the band Musical Youth. So kind of neat. Still has that. Not a high value, but like I said, it's cool because it's sort of a, it's reggae. It's kids doing reggae. So you guys remember Pass the Dutchie. Like I said, for some reason I've just never run across that album here in the U.S. I'm sure it's, like I said, it's probably more common. I think they had more hits than Pass the Dutchie in the UK. In the U.S. they were just mainly known for Pass the Dutchie, which I think is still. Here's the second copy of Flowers, and this is a stereo jacket with the correct stereo record. This is the next estate sale. This one was not far from me. I'd say it's about 20 minutes from me. They had, I think it said LPs. It didn't say records. So some record guys did show up for this one. I was the first one through the door. I was the first one lined up that morning. And you could see some of the records. Said when you locally here, if there's records, and a lot of times record guys show up, they're usually you got to get there early to find stuff. Unless you buy weird stuff like 78s, like I do. I've still found good 78s and 45s on the second and third days it sells. But usually the LP stuff, if you want to get the good stuff, you got to get there the first day. So what I got here was Flowers, but a stereo version. Again, from 1967. We just talked about this record. This one's in like way better shape than the other one, which is probably why I'm like, I mean, it's instantaneously I got an upgrade on that one. Stereo jacket, and I almost didn't buy it because I'm like, well, I just bought a mono pressing, but kind of glad I did grab this one. So stereo pressing of that one. From that sale, this is like I said, this is the third sale I went to this week where there were records. I went to other sales without records. I may start doing videos on some of the other cool collectible stuff I find, since it might be easier to make those videos, but I don't know how it's going to clash as being, YouTube kind of sees me as a record channel at this point, not as a collectibles channel. From 73, this one, again, there's so many pressings, I didn't find a value. Probably worth more here in Southern California. War, Deliver the Word, and it has one of those covers where you slide it out. It's got the guy standing there, so you can see through. That's how it's supposed to be, except this is a little chipped over. But War, Deliver the Word, from 1973. The one everybody probably knows on this one is Me and Baby Brothers on this one. Again, a War album I did not have, so I'm very happy to find that. And the record's in good shape. It has the original inner with the picture that shows through the front. Cool to find that. Here's one I really wish was in better condition. There's two of these here. You'll see why. That I'm like, oh God. I grabbed them because it's like, it's not records you really find, but they're kind of banged up. First one is Mass in F minor, the Electric Prunes. So some psychedelic rock from 1970. I really wish this was it. Like, I'm just looking at this thing like, why couldn't this be the one that was like in mint condition? These go for good money. It's okay. It's got like white. It looks like it'll play fine. Like I said, you don't find Electric Prunes that often, especially not out in the wild. So I grabbed that. The jacket, like I said, the jacket's got a little bit of that wear on. I think I just showed you, but I'll show you again. The jacket's kind of worn out, but very cool to find a Electric Prince Psych album in the wild at a local estate sale. And something a little bit different from Electric Prunes. We got the Bangles. I did have copies of this one already, but 80 stuff's coming up. Didn't look up the value on it. Bangles, different light. I know I probably have multiple copies of this already. Some of them walk like an Egyptian, so they sold a lot of these. But people getting into collecting vinyl that are into 80s stuff are definitely going to be into that. There's another one, if you watched my video where I went through my old records. In the L's, you know I already have a couple copies of this one. From 69, but this is a later pressing because it has a Gold Record Award sticker on the front, hype sticker. Zeppelin 2. Again, I'm not going to figure out which one it is, which it does have the gatefold with the Zeppelin. Zeppelin 2. Record's in shape. I almost didn't grab it. It's nice. Like, it'll play fine. So I grabbed that because why not? Here's the second one that I'm like, oh God, I wish this thing was in better shape. This one actually has a really good value. I actually tried to look up the pressing on this one. I could not find it with this label variation on Discogs. And you'll see why this is like criminal. The record's okay. It'll probably play all right. But from 1966, a Garage Psych record. The Seeds, A Web of Sound. And oh God, this is just like the jacket's coming apart. But when do you ever find Seeds LPs in the wild? You just don't. I'll show you the label variation. I could not find it with this GNP Crescendo label variation. I can only find the one where it's written on, like, around the circle on Discogs. I'll show you the vinyl. It's got a few little scratches and stuff, but it'll probably play okay. But you just don't find the Seeds on LP. I find the Seeds on 45, especially pushing too hard. So yeah, it's definitely something I would like to upgrade in the future if possible, but not one I'm likely to run across much in the wild at estate sales. We got a couple more records on this one. First one is from 1987, another movie I remember going to see back when I was younger, when it came out in '87. This one has a return hole punched in the cover. This is the soundtrack to La Bamba. You remember that? And the music was mostly done, of course, the music was mostly done by Los Lobos. Of course, Brian Setzer played Eddie Cochran in the movie, and then, so it's got Brian Setzer on there doing like Summertime Blues. So that's kind of cool. So the Bomba soundtrack, it's got most of the cellophane hanging on it, but they did punch the corner. Next one I have, a record I already had. I bought it because I couldn't remember if I already gave my daughter a copy, and apparently I had, which is why I grabbed it, even though I got other. This is actually a really good copy of it. From '79, Blondie and Eat to the Beat. My daughter I got her into Blondie, so I couldn't remember. Like I said, I couldn't remember if I'd given her this one already. So I grabbed that one. So that's what I got for you this week on Mike Finds Things. Always out looking for stuff. You never know what I'm going to find. Hopefully I can hit some sales Thursday, Friday. Like I said, I'm in Vegas till Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, I can hit sales. Saturday, Sunday, I've got videos both days. In fact, I may be doing two videos on next Sunday. 2 car shows. I've got the Long Beach swap meet for car swap meet, and I may be hitting another show over in Burbank right after that. It just depends on how quickly I get done at Long Beach. But that's on the other channel. So as always, make sure you are subscribed. It does help us out. Like the video, leave some comments. I'm really trying to get this channel going again. It kind of went up, then kind of plateaued, and now it's kind of dipping, and maybe it'll come up again. We'll see. YouTube is really strange. And until next time, I'll be seeing you.